Hello and welcome to Rando Rob. Each week on Rando Rob, I'll be showing and discussing one item from my large collection of collections. New shows appear every Monday, and throughout the week, I'll be adding older episodes of Rando Rob that were previously only available to my Patreon subscribers. You can watch episodes of Rando Rob on YouTube at youtube.com/Rob O'Hara. Just look for the Rando Rob playlist. Audio versions of the show are available on my website at podcast.robohara.com or through iTunes. Just search for Rando Rob. Thanks for watching or listening, and I hope you enjoy this vintage episode of Rando Rob. What I wanted to talk about, though, was the Star Wars Day, May the 4th. And I kind of have a rant. I don't even know. I haven't thought about it. And so, I haven't planned it out or anything, but, in almost anything in the world, anything that's pop culture related or whatever, there is this kind of little bump where emails going off. Let's say, you're moving along and then all of a sudden you find this band, right? And then you go, hey man, I like this band. And you feel like you're the only person, like you're in this small group of people that know about this band, and then the band releases songs or whatever. And you're like, man, I love this band, and then, back in the day, maybe they got a video on MTV, or today, I don't know, maybe they got a song in a commercial or something just caught on, in the clubs. And then it goes like this. And then you go, yeah, but I was a fan down here, man. I liked them I liked them before they were big, and then they get up here and then they start doing other great stuff, releasing other music and albums and stuff. And then you go, yeah, now they're commercial. It's such a weird thing. And when I was a kid, I was definitely, there are a few bands that I feel like I was in on the ground level on. I talked about this the other day. Somebody said, I remember Motley Crue before they sold out, and I was like, I have the first Motley Crue, the first Motley Crue cassette, and I think it has a date on it, and it says it's like a sale date, and it says 1983. I mean, it's way before the second album. It was when they only had the first album out. And I was a kid when I got this. I got it, somebody gave it to me or something. But, there were just certain bands that you did that. And believe me, there's a million bands I've heard over the years that went nowhere. There was a band called the Dotsons. And when I heard that album, I wrote a review and I was like, these guys are going to be the biggest thing ever. And then they just went nowhere, really. I mean, not in the big scheme of things, but I thought they were a great band. I really liked the Dotsons. But there's just a lot of stuff like that where, and the point I'm getting to is that, it kind of gets into the culture, and then the people that started it, all of a sudden they don't like it. Not because it changed, but because whatever, they just don't like the mainstream aspect of it. And so May the 4th was, and I haven't looked up the history of it or anything, but I know that it caught on several years ago, and someone saw the May the 4th, and then it's like, oh, today's May the 4th. Oh, May the 4th be with you. And it just kind of caught on as this funny little thing, and it became known as Star Wars Day. And so every year on May the 4th, people post Star Wars memes online and they talk about Star Wars, And if you were a Star Wars fan, I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm an old school Star Wars fan. I have a lot of hard time with a lot of the newer stuff, but when I was a kid, I couldn't have thought of anything better in the whole world than a day that people would go, this is Star Wars Day. Like, if your teacher had a Star Wars Day that she knew about, wouldn't that have been the greatest thing ever as a kid? And this May the 4th thing caught on. It took off on social media, and now, I hate to say it this way, but some of the people, like, I'm friends with some people, and I follow some people on Facebook from high school that weren't my people in high school. I'll just put it nicely. They didn't want to be my people, in high school. They were not fans of the kids in Gifted. They were not fans of people that were not that didn't have the latest clothes or the new cars and all that. And that's a whole rabbit hole you could get into, where now the nerds kind of rule the world, and I'm okay with that. But you see those people posting May the 4th stuff. They post Baby Yoda. They post, they're like, oh, look, it's Baby Yoda. And you want to go, it's not Baby Yoda, but whatever. And there are a lot of Star Wars fans online that have pushed back against May the 4th. They're like, oh, now everybody's a Star Wars fan, blah, blah, blah. Well, good. I hope everybody's a Star Wars fan. I love it. I hope everybody in the world's a Star Wars fan. I don't, it's something to do with age. There's a lot of things over the years that my opinion has just changed or softened on things. And again, going back to those bands, I just had this elitist out view on stuff like, oh, well, now if other people know about the band, then it's over. Now I don't care. I don't care if 1 million people like the bands I like. That's great. That means they'll make money and they'll keep making the music that I like, or movies or TV shows or anything like that, So I am not one of the people that's against May the 4th. There's a lot. If you look on Facebook, there's I'm a member of a couple of different Star Wars groups, and people are like, oh, here's the day where all the fair weather fans come out and post May the 4th. Well, let them do it. Let them have their day. I'll tell you what it's exactly like. When I was a kid and I learned about St. Patrick's Day, I thought it was a holiday for my people. And my people being people that apparently have Irish last names and have never been to Ireland and aren't really that Irish. My grandfather, I guess my grandfather was 100% Irish, because his grandparents were both Irish and they came to the U.S. So he was born in the U.S., but his parents both came from Ireland. So I thought it was for Irish people, and then when, St. Patrick's Day, go to the bar and see how many people there are Irish. They don't care. They just want green beer. They want to have a party. They want to wear leprechaun hats and green glasses. Let them do it. Let everybody have fun on St. Patrick's Day. What's it hurt me? It doesn't hurt me at all. So I feel the same way about May the 4th. I think May the 4th is a great day. I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan, you should use that day to remind yourself of how great Star Wars is or was, or however you look at it. You can celebrate. I don't mean have a party, but, internally you could celebrate and think about the great things of Star Wars. You can pull out, displays or things like that. And if there's younger people or people that, your grandma posts a picture of, Darth Vader and she's like, this is a guy from Star Trek. Let her have her fun for one day. I just feel like the more people that like Star Wars, the better, and I'm okay with that. And after all that brings me to this week's items. And I have 2 items here, and they're similar, and I got them both on the same day. This is a Stormtrooper Lego clock, and this is a Yoda Lego clock. Now, each one of these, they're the same on the back. I think actually maybe Yoda. No, let's see. I'm trying to see which one you'll be able to see better. There's a few options there. You can set the time. You can set an alarm, and then there's hours and minutes. And obviously there is a battery compartment there that I am afraid to open because my guess is that somebody left batteries in these, which is why they don't work. And then there's a on-off. But you can set the time, and then obviously it displays right there on the little LCD screen right there in Stormtrooper's stomach. And obviously he has been modeled. Both of them have been modeled after Lego figures. You can see they look just like Lego figures. They've got the hands, they've got the feet, the head on this guy, kind of. It doesn't really move, but you can tell it's been snapped into place. I don't know if Yoda's head moves either. Not really. Oh, you know what? They're spring-loaded because that's the snooze on the alarm. I think you hit him like that. But Yoda's the same way. He's got little Lego hands here, his hands and his the hands move, the feet don't move. And again, you can tell they've got the same circuit board or whatever inside because it has the exact same layout of the buttons and the battery compartment and all that. So he has some spiky molded hair. Look at that. That's a weapon. I got these a few years ago when I was visiting Buffalo, New York. And right outside Buffalo, there's a small town called Tonawanda. And Tonawanda he has since moved, but Tonawanda was where my buddy Sean lived. And Sean is, you may know him as the co-host of Throwback Reviews. Now, Sean, I don't want to say unfortunately, but last year he moved and he had to disassemble his podcast studio, and he is in the process of building a new podcast studio. And so as soon as he gets all that done, we plan to resume Throwback Reviews. But that's why the show has been on hiatus for as long as it has. But when I was there, Sean and I, Sean is one of those people that if I had met him in real life, we would be best friends. And I don't mean to say that we're not great friends or best friends or whatever, but what I mean is we would be doing stuff together all the time. We would be at each other's houses. We would be watching movies. We would be shopping and thrifting and just doing all and just hanging out. I've been to Sean's house twice, I think, maybe 3 times. I don't remember. No, maybe just twice. But I've spent time hanging out with his kids and hanging out with his wife and him, and not separately. Not like I go hang out with his kids. That's weird. But just hanging out with his family and doing different stuff. And just a really great guy. We connected through podcasts, but we have so much in common, growing up playing with Star Wars stuff and growing up loving 80s movies and just all those fun things. He's very nostalgic like I am. And he's just a kindred spirit, And so when I was up there visiting him, we went to a few different, thrift stores, antique mall kind of places, and went and did some shopping together, and took his son with us. And we just had a great day, going around. And later in the week, I was there, I was there maybe for a 3-day weekend, something like that. And Sean and myself and his wife went to this thrift store that they like to go to that has a lot of mid-century furniture and stuff like that. And by the way, I figured out what the noise is I have birds on the outside of the window and I have a cat on the inside of the window, and they are playing patty cake. But anyway, so I'd gone to this thrift store with Sean. We were looking at different stuff, seeing, finding things that were for sale or whatever. And I found these, and I don't remember. I think they were $5 each. I think it was $5 for him and $5 for the old stormtrooper here. And I didn't have any of these style of clocks or anything. I think my either my kid, maybe my nephew, we had bought one for somebody, but I don't even remember if it was Star Wars. It might have been some other franchise or something. But I had seen this style of Lego clock, but I didn't own any of them. And it's first of all, I always like when franchises cross over. So on one side you've got Star Wars, on one side you've got Lego. Again, you can see there's the Lego. And I take it back. This guy's his legs do move on the stormtrooper because they just moved. You've got the Lego Star Wars logo right there, and so you've got those two different franchises. I loved Legos as a kid. I love Star Wars, so that part of it is cool. I always like things like that cross over. But the other thing is, I always love owning things that have a story behind them, or a memory, some nostalgic connection. And as much as I love Star Wars and as much as I love Lego, there was also that other aspect of I bought these when I was in Tonawanda. I was with my buddy Sean, and that's when I bought them. So when I see these on the shelf, I do think of Star Wars. And I do think of Lego, but I also think of my friend, that I was with when I was shopping. I've told my wife before, um, I really don't enjoy going to garage sales and thrift stores and stuff like that by myself. I would much rather go with a friend, to enjoy that experience together and talk about the things that you see and stuff like that. That's just part of the fun for me. And so when I see these, that's what I think about. I think about the day that we went shopping, that me and Sean and his wife went out and we found these and we laughed about them and I bought them and now they're here. And so when I see them, I get to think about my friends. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about this week on Rando Rob. I hope you had a great May the 4th day, whether you are a fan from 1977 like I am, or you're someone who's enjoying the new movies and cartoons. I mean, how can you not like The Mandalorian? What a great series that has been. And so it'll be interesting to see where some of the new TV shows and cartoons and stuff take Star Wars. It'll keep moving things forward. So happy May the 4th to you all. And by the way, I released an episode of You Don't Know Flack on Monday. I released an episode of Sprite Castle on Tuesday. I'm releasing Rando Rob on Wednesday, and I will have another episode of You Don't Know Flack on either Thursday or Friday, which will get me caught back up on my release schedule for the month. So thank all you guys for your support. I could not do this without you, and I wouldn't want to do it without you. So thanks again, and I will see you guys all soon.